In this lesson, we will use the drafting features of MasterCAM to put dimensions and notes on our part. The first thing I'd like to do is move my wireframe to level 20. So I'll window the geometry, right click, and use the change level. It comes up to level 20. I can select it if I want. I'll green check, and all my geometry is now moved up to level 20. Drafting is still active, so anything we create from here will go on that level. I'd like to change the color, so I'll right click, and for my wireframe color I'll drop that down and I'll select a dark green. I have the drafting tab selected here, and Smart Dimension is going to do most of what we need. I'm going to select the 4-inch overall length first, and you can see I'm selecting this entity here. I can also select points. It makes a difference on what I select for the associativity of the dimension. So I'm going to come up and select the entity, and the 4 inches comes up. I can place it. I'll look for the center of this, and I'll bring it down from there. It's a little bigger than I'd like, so I'm going to go into the height, which I have on my panel here. I have a variety of options here. I'm going to make this 150, and this is going to be applied to all the dimensions in the future. So I'll go ahead and say OK. I'm going to green check out and see what that looks like. That looks pretty good, but I do want to make it a little smaller. So I'm going to select Smart Dimension again. I'm going to come in and select 4-inch again. So I'll put it back to where it was, and I want to go into height. I want to make that 100 thousandths. So again, this will be applied to all dimensions moving forwards. I also want to edit my text. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to put a space, I'm going to come down to this symbol, and I'm going to go to the plus minus symbol. I'll put another space and say 10 thousandths. So our overall length is 4 inches plus or minus 10 thousandths. I'll accept this, I'll apply this, which keeps me in my panel. Next I want to do the 750 dimension, or the 1.5 inch diameter. For that I'm going to come up and I'm going to grab the auto cursor intersection. This will allow me to grab this entity and a point here. Now it's looking for the second point. I can grab the second point up here, and I've got a 750 radial dimension here. So I'll put this here. I want to add my 1.5 inch diameter to it. So I'll edit the text. I'll enter 1.5, and I'll come down to this symbol and I'll grab the diameter symbol. Next, I want to do the 1/2 inch dimension on the front. I'll grab the origin, I'll grab the intersection here, and I've got 1/2 inch. Again, I want to put the diametric value, so we'll say 1.00, and I'll grab the diameter symbol again. Now you can see my text moved outside of my leader lines, and I can't get it back inside. It's because my text is too big to fit inside of there. So in this case, I'm going to come down, I'm going to edit my text. Sorry, I'm going to edit my height. I'm going to make it 0.080, and I can get it back down inside. So I could leave it out here if I want, but I like it inside of here, so I'm going to put it here. The centered text will also do that for you where it can. So next I'm going to grab this leg up here. I'll put a dimension. We'll edit the text, and we'll say reference. A point of correction here. The height of our last dimension, the 2.506, is 80 thousandths, which was what we set our 500 thousandths dimension height to. And we left the apply and dimensions and note box checked. Okay, now I could do the angle here with Smart Dimension, but I'm not going to do that. I just want to show that we have all these other features here which are a little bit more specific to certain types of dimensions. In this case it's angular. I'm going to come down and grab the bottom and this angle, and you can see I get my 9.5 degrees. So we'll say okay to all of that. I've got a couple things left I want to do here. First thing I want to do is I want to create a note. So I'll grab the note and annotate, and we're going to say 250 hole through. Our height is 0.080 because of this one here, so this one's a little smaller than the rest of them. I'm going to go ahead and make that 0.1, and you can see that I've got the text there. I can drag it around and put it where I want. So I'm going to drop it right here, and we'll say OK. And I'd like to put a leader line to that, so I'm going to grab a leader. Now I can do a straight line with 2 endpoints or a multi-segment. We'll do multi-segment just to make it a little fancy. I'll grab the origin, I'll bring it down, and then I'll angle it in towards the text. I'll hit escape. So now I'm showing this as a 250 hole through. I also want to put a note just to name the sketch. So we'll call this Design Part 1. I want to make my height a little bigger here, so it's a little more prominent, and we'll make it bold. So again, I'll come up and I'll grab the center of this, bring it down to approximate, and we'll say OK. The last thing I'd like to do is print this. So I'm going to do an Alt F1 to fit it. I'm actually going to page it up one more time. I've found that that will work okay. We want to get as much of this sketch into our print as we can. Now if you have Adobe PDF, you can do that, or you can do Microsoft Print to PDF. So we'll go ahead and say print, and I need to put it somewhere, so we'll call this with my initials. We'll save it, and if I look back into that folder, I'm going to go ahead and open this drafting WHM. And this is what we just created.